Good morning. Welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda, and I am here with my weekly wrap-up. I'm still getting used to my new phone. So my new phone has a little green dot to look at so I can look at the camera. So hopefully I'm not like looking off to the side the whole time. Anyway, this is my second time filming this because the first time my cat decided to be a pain in the tush and kept shaking the camera. So we're just gonna do this all over again. Anyway, well, we've almost made it to the holidays. I am in full stress mode. Let's see, I think I have all my Christmas shopping done. I've sent what I need to send. I need to do some wrapping. So I try to get my husband to wrap everything except his gifts because I do everything else and I hate wrapping. So I do have a couple of his gifts I have to wrap. And I have a lot of baking to do. I have this Sunday at church, I'm hosting a cookie exchange. So I need to make the cookies for that. I've started one, I don't know, I might do a different kind of cookie. We'll see. And then so I have that. I also have fudge to make and all that fun stuff. But yeah, so today is a baking day and I have to write my Christmas cards. I have to do that today too. Yeah, so I'm in stress mode. Oh, I want to show you Christmas tree, stockings that are not yet hung. I'll let my husband do that. And then if I turn the camera ever so slightly this way, you see that shelf, that bookcase over there is my keeper case, my keeper bookshelf. And the piles of books over there are the ones that don't fit on them. I've been trying to tell my husband that what I want for Christmas is bookshelves. And I don't think I'm getting them because he's like, why can't you just get rid of your books? And I'm like, you don't understand. Anyhow, yes. So before I get into the reading, let's do some business stuff. And I'm going to start with something sad. And some of you may already know this, but I'm going to do it anyway because I think if I did not know this, I'd want to know this. So some of you know Kim, not Kim Middle of the Book March. I think it's like Kim's Bookish Life, I think is what her channel, she didn't have a channel. I think she might have at one point had a couple of videos, but she was not really a booktuber. She was a commenter, Kim Pronish. She had been watching my channel almost from the beginning. And then we did a lot of buddy reads together this year. And so I really got to know her. And she passed this past week. She had been having health issues. So, it wasn't unexpected, but it is still very sad. But if you know Kim and you didn't know that, I wanted to let you know that happened. Her son posted on her Facebook that this happened last weekend, I think. Yeah, and I know that some of you know her, and I think a lot of you actually know her because she's been commenting on a lot of channels, but I just did want to pass that on. So that's sad, and I really enjoyed buddy reading with her and getting to know her, so she will be missed. More businessy stuff. There was no mid-month book bash this week video for me. There was a mid-month book bash. I did not have a mid-month book bash vlog this week because on Sunday I was sitting in church and I'm like, oh yeah, this weekend was supposed to be mid-month book bash and I had forgotten. And I'm blaming holiday stress. So it'll be back next month. Yeah, that's next year. Yeah, it gave me an extra day on my posting schedule. At least there was that. So that's coming up. So next week, posting for next week, I'm only going to have 2 videos up next week. I am going to have my January TBR, which is already filmed. And of course, after I filmed it, I planned one other buddy read. So there's still one more book that's not on there. I'll probably put it in the comments. And then I will do a weekly wrap up on Saturday as usual, Saturday. But I'm not going to do anything else during the holiday week. I'm probably not even going to be watching that much. I do have a goal to try and catch up on all my comments. I'm so far behind. I've had 2 people say, let's do a buddy read, and I haven't even had a chance to get back to them. So you know who you are. I want to do those buddy reads. I will try and comment with you today or yesterday. Well, you know how it goes. Booktube time. So anyway, just 2 videos next week. And then, yeah. And then we're in 2025. Woohoo. Anyhow, that is that. So let me get into my reading. I only finished 2 books this week, which is fine because it's the end of the year and it's crazy. The first one I finished was my Agatha Christie for the month, which is The Moving Finger. So this is, depending on how you count it, either the 3rd or 4th Miss Marple book. So the thing with Miss Marple is the first book, if you actually look it up the way the publishers have it, the first book is a short story collection, 13 Murders, something like that. I have it. I just, but sometimes they count that as Miss Marple #1, and sometimes they don't go into, they start A Murder at the Vicarage as Miss Marple #1, which actually came out after the short story collection. This is either 3 or 4. It's the 3rd novel. And I have read, it's also the 3rd novel, Miss Marple novel I've read. I've read those so far in order. So I've read Murder at the Vicarage and Body in the Library. And those are both, Miss Marple's a character. She's there the whole time. Everything. That's what I expected reading this book, right? I'm reading this book. Now, let me preface by saying this is actually really good mystery. Really, really good mystery. I need to remember to look at the green light. Great characters. It's really inventive. I was completely stumped. I was completely wrong with the solution. So I really enjoyed that. But as I know this is a Miss Marple book, I'm reading and reading and reading. And I'm like, well, shouldn't there be a Miss Marple in it? This book has, in this edition, has 226 pages of text. Miss Marple does show up on page 167. And even then, she's only in like 3 scenes, and she only kind of like makes a few little comments to kind of direct the narrator to make the correct conclusion. I mean, she is barely in this book. So personally, I was a little preoccupied by that. I think if they had not told me, if whoever, like they, had not said this was a Miss Marple book, I probably would have enjoyed this book much more and then would have been surprised when Miss Marple showed up. But in the meantime, I'm going, where is Miss Marple? This is really weird. She's not in this book. She is, just at the very end and just barely. But I did, aside from that, this is actually a really strong mystery. Really strong, very interesting, a lot of really good, it's really good. As far as the mystery part goes, if you can just get over there's no Miss Marple in it, or barely any. The other thing, and this is, I think, an edition version. So this is the William Morrow one. And let me see if I can get a copy figure out when this one came out. This has a date of when this particular, it does not. But I think this is one that's been corrected. Now, I say that carefully, because as we know, Agatha Christie in her book said some things she should not have said. However, in her lifetime, she became aware of the things that she said and should not have said, and then changed them herself in her books in, future, subsequent printings. So I don't know if these things that are really clearly basically what it is she's been known to, in earlier books, to throw the N-word around in sort of casually, like maybe in 1930s, 1940s Britain, that, I'm sure that was just a word that was thrown around. I know in the United States at that time, it was not as serious, I guess, a word as it is now, but it still was looked down upon. It was definitely a derogatory term in her books. It's almost like it is just sort of a descriptor. And that might be a cultural thing, because in Britain at the time, it was just a descriptor, or even in the United States, it was more of a derogatory term. But in here, she keeps, there's all these references to black slaves. And I'm like, that's really weird that it doesn't fit. And it took me a while to figure out that I think that there was a different word there before, and it has been fixed. Now, whether that is something that William Morrow did for this edition, or whether it was something that Agatha Christie did for a 2nd or 3rd printing, I don't know. But look, if it's the latter case, she learned from her ways. There you go. And that is, yes, Agatha Christie has her problematic issues, but unlike most people most authors that have these problematic issues, she at least realized she was being problematic and tried to fix it. You know what I'm saying? So whatever. It was just something that I noticed about this book. Okay, so the second book I finished, I'm not going to talk a lot about because I did it as a buddy read with Suey at Suey's Book Banner. Go check out her channel. And she's still reading. So I was avoiding reality and reading. Plus, this is actually a pretty quick book to read. And this was the final book in my 2024 self-destruct list. I can't say that I read every book in that because I actually DNF'd some of them, but I did at least attempt them all. And this one is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. So I have had this book. This is a book of the month, December 2017. I've had this book since then. I was supposed to read it earlier than this. A few years ago for one of my book clubs, one that I'm no longer in, did it. And I wasn't going to be able to make that book club meeting. So I didn't read the book at the time, just thinking I would read it later. And later is now. I'm kind of kicking myself that it took me so long to read it because I actually really enjoyed this book. I sort of begrudgingly enjoyed this book because I kind of felt like if I don't really enjoy this book, it's going to be okay that I left it for so long. But no, I really enjoyed it. Frequently, at least for me, when I start a book, any book, I'm kind of like, okay, early on in the book, and maybe the first 10, 15% of the book, I feel like, okay, this is the lay of the land. This is what this character's doing, blah, blah, blah. You know, I kind of feel like, and that's just a normal thing to do. And I did that with this book, but I was wrong. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that she was able to kind of create this one view and then turn it on its head. I am still thinking about this book. This is, as I said, it's kind of a quick read. It's an easy read language-wise. Like it reads easily, but there's some heavier topics in it. I'm still thinking about it, so I'm glad I still have the opportunity to talk to Suey about it, but I'm not going to talk more about it because I'm still talking about it with her. So that's all I finished. I did want to do a quick little what I'm reading now and how I'm probably going to finish out the year. So I am still reading my Ántonia. I should be done with that book by now, but I'm not. It is because it is the holiday season and my reading time is limited. However, I will probably have that book done this weekend. So I'm filming this on Friday. You'll see it on Saturday. On Saturday, I am going into downtown Portland to see 12th Night at Portland Center Stage with Bookish Best Friend. And as I've said in my vlog where I went to Grand Gesture Books, I don't like to drive or park in downtown Portland. So I always take the train in. And I don't like to just sit on the train. So I bring my Kobo. So Willa Cather is going to be going into Portland with me. And so I'm pretty sure I will finish that book this weekend. Once I finish that, I will read Remains of the Day, which is one of two. It's to finish one of the two last prompts I have to do on my story graph challenge. And this one is read a book with a pun in the title. So Remains of the Day. This is a cozy mystery. That's not something that always works for me. I am going to give myself grace that if I really feel like I can't get through this book, I'm going to allow myself to DNF it and still count it towards the challenge. I gave it a fighting try. So there is that. And then in print, I'm currently reading Kiss Me at Christmas by Jenny Bayliss. This is a romance novel. You saw it when I did my book haul last month. I picked this up when I went to Grand Gesture Books in Portland. Also, I should say, I usually go to Powell's, and last time we went to Grand Gesture Books, but usually go to Powell's on my trips into Portland with Bookish Best Friend. That's not happening this time because it's December 21st and I'm not crazy. But anyway, Kiss Me at Christmas. This is a holiday romance. And I keep saying, romance isn't really speaking to me right now, but I'll give it a try. And I thought, something light. I'm actually really enjoying this. I'm not saying it's going to make me a heavy duty romance reader. And again, this is not because I have anything against romance, or I think that it is a lesser genre, because I don't. It just is not a genre that's speaking to me right now. But this one I am really enjoying. It's kind of a perfect light read for this time of year. It is very Christmassy and it's just delightful so far. I mean, it might turn out to be horrible at the end, but it's a romance, so I doubt it. I think Jenny Bayliss, her thing is Christmas romances. Let's see if I know she has a couple. Okay, well, here are her other books. A December to Remember, Meet Me Under the Mistletoe, A Season for Second Chances, and The 12 Dates of Christmas. So I'm going to say yes. Her thing is holiday romance. And I think that I will make a point of next year picking up another one of her books to read this time of year because it has been really delightful. When I finish that, I am going to read Rooster House, which I should have grabbed and I didn't. Rooster House by, I think it's Victoria Belin. And this is to satisfy the other one of my remaining Storygraph challenge prompts, which is to read a book from an area that is currently in conflict. And this is from Ukraine. And I had a choice of either that or Enter Ghost by Isabella Hamad. I don't know. I just went for it. I felt like Ukraine. So I am looking forward to reading that. I'm also, I should say, also currently reading this short story collection, Christmas and Other Horrors. I will have this done by next week. And it's not just Christmas. There's all sorts of winter holidays in here. I think there has been a Kwanzaa one. There's been Hanukkah. There's been Solstice. There's been New Year's. There was even a Festivus story. So yes, there was a Festivus story in here. I will talk more about this next week because I only have, I think, 2 or 3 stories left. The last one I read was really creepy, I will say, which is good because I should save this for next week. I have 2 stories left, but this is probably not a short story collection I'm going to be keeping on my shelves. But anyway, I'm working on that. So once I finish Ukraine, Rooster House and Remains of the Day, or DNF, Remains of the Day, I don't know what I'm going to read to finish out the year. As I said, I do have an audiobook going right now. So next week I will have another, hey, if you don't want to hear about politics, you can stop now kind of moment in my video. This was just a long one and I didn't finish it this week. I'm not going to do another audiobook until 2025 because I like to go into the new year with no books, not carrying anything over. So once I finish Remains of the Day, Rooster House, I'm going to see how much time I have and kind of decide where I want to go from there. I do have a number of those Amazon short or standalone short stories that kind of come out on their own. So I consider them books on my Kindle that I could read just to have something to keep me going through the end of the year. We'll see. We'll just see how much time I have left and what's going on. But I am currently working on setting up my reading tracker for 2025. I use the currently reading one that they do for their Patreon subscribers. And I have on my TBR, and my actual TBR is all the books I currently own that I haven't read and Agatha Christie's. So there are some Agatha Christie's on there that I don't own, but they're on there because I'm going to read them anyway. They just are kind of placeholders, but it's 900 books. I have choices. That's all I need to say. I have choices. So anyway, those are my reading plans for the rest of the year. Who knows? It could be that when I see you again, there could be a bookshelf, but I highly doubt it. My husband seems very reticent that I should have another bookshelf. And I said, okay, well, the stacks are just going to keep growing then. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to cut this short. Thank you very much. If you celebrate Christmas or the holidays, or Hanukkah, because it's Christmaka this year, I hope you have a wonderful holiday. And if you don't, I still hope you get some time off at the end of the year to kind of, reset and rest and relax and gird your loins for 2025. Anyway, subscribe, join my Discord. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.